There was a lot of like headbanging going on, and then all of a sudden MB was up on everybody's arms playing air guitar, absolutely rocking out with pretty much the entire year level holding him up there.
Rock of the Dead, surrounded by 10 other sweaty men.
But it's also pretty just classic MB, I guess.
MB and I played a lot of footy together, and he was tiny, a really skinny kid, but foolishly brave.
That was our last game.
He just absolutely turned it on and
Kicking goals from like ridiculous angles, and yeah, I just remember just like watching him go, that's pretty good. I remember we went round to his place and we used to jump off his roof into his pool. He nearly caved himself one day. Like, you'd run down the little slope like that, and then the pool was just below. Jump the pool, and so he's going to jump, done a little slip, and the look on his face was absolute horror. That, oh my God, my mum was right. I should not be doing this.
Police have charged 2 men and released a 14-year-old over a serious assault in Little Bourke Street last night. The victim, who's in his 20s, was set upon and bashed before fleeing for a short time. His assailants caught up and the assault continued. He's in intensive care at the Royal Melbourne Hospital.
I think I got a call from one of the boys just saying, MB's in a bit of trouble, you better come into the hospital.
And, I remember seeing on the news that there'd been a report of someone being hit in the city and in critical condition in the hospital.
And my mobile was just ringing and ringing and ringing, and I wasn't answering it. And then it stopped ringing, and my house phone started ringing. And I thought, that's a bit weird.
MB's been hit in the city pretty badly.
Couldn't quite register what was going on. I just it sounds ridiculous, but I thought it was a joke.
I didn't believe it. I didn't believe anything could happen to us and our mates, my mate.
When Tom said that he's in trouble, I'm like, yeah, I've seen fights before, he'll be fine, like he'll just roll out of it.
We obviously knew it was bad, but never expected that it would be this bad, so.
Definitely a really, really strange experience going to the ICU and seeing so many people.
I was always thinking it's going to be okay, he's going to pull through, and it'll just be a scare that we'll laugh about, like we laughed about heaps of other stuff with him.
The size that his sort of face and head had swollen to, and the bandage across his forehead where they'd removed the bone. It's just something you can't really imagine until you see it.
It's the worst thing that's ever happened in my life to me and to someone I know. And you don't know how to feel. Like, you just feel numb to it. He's still around, it's just that it's almost like he's not around still.
We realised James was going to be in that situation for a long time, and that we needed to kind of band together and do something.
So we started meeting after MB got hit.
The group was started to try and keep his friends in touch with him.
To help him out, help his family out.
And just keep his friends involved with his life, considering he was just such a social person.
But over time, we kept reading about, in the paper, we kept reading about people being hit, people being killed.
We realised that it's a problem that goes far beyond our friendship group. And
before the incident happens, many of our own mates would get into fights without even thinking about it.
And MB, ironically, was probably the least aggressive, least violent kind of guy. But we all learned a big lesson, and Step Back Think for me in particular was about let other people know about that lesson without them having to go through it themselves, or without their friendship group having to lose someone to being hit, or to the one that's hit them.
We need to get our message out there and really show people how much damage that simply one punch could do and did do to our good friend James.
One punch was the catalyst for the formation of Step Back Think. One punch was all it took to bring the issue of street violence abruptly to our attention. One punch turned our mate into one of those news stories we would have once heard and thought, that couldn't happen to me. Step Back Think's ambition is to make everyone understand the risk that's taken when you throw that punch. To be the nagging voice in each person's head when they're shaping up to hit someone that says, if this guy's head hits the pavement, he could die. All over spilt beer? It's hardly worth it. We know that education is the best way to tackle this issue. If more people knew a single punch could kill someone, or leave them with devastating injuries like MB's, maybe they'd think twice about throwing it. So what can you do? You can look after your mates. You can flip the traditional got your back mentality on its head. Instead of flying the flag, you can make sure you protect your mates by keeping them away, or distracting them from a situation that could explode into a punch-on. The bottom line is, one punch will never be worth the risk. The risk of losing a mate, the risk of going to prison, the risk of spending the rest of your life in a hospital bed, or sentencing someone else to that fate. The damage can't be undone.